Hello, David Dye here with the World Cafe. In hour 2 today, Tori Amos is going to join us in the studio. Her new album is called Under the Pink. She'll be performing and talking about the new record today and how she's dealt with the success she has had since last year in her remarkable debut of Little Earthquakes. Also, the annual South by Southwest Music Conference in Austin, Texas is underway. Over the past few years, it has become the premier music conference in the States, surpassing the New Music Seminar and the College Music Journal Convention in terms of the number of bands showcasing. South by Southwest has become a feeding frenzy for record company A&R people. We're going to play a number of artists who will be at South by Southwest over the weekend. It's all coming up on the World Cafe. This hour, Tori Amos joins us in the studio. It's been 2 years since she released her incredible debut album, Little Earthquakes, a series of songs which she once described as meditations on religion, love, relationships, and breaking the bonds of sexual guilt. The album sold over 1 million copies, propelled by excellent press, constant touring, her live shows impressed people from as far away as Israel and Japan with performances that combined a blend of sensuality and an honest, if not frank, openness. Well, Tori is back, and she's still digging deep on her new album, Under the Pink. She's still honest and open-minded, and the album includes new characters, great songs, and some interesting revelations. Tori shares the songs and her thoughts with us this hour, coming up on the World Cafe. Start out going back with a live version of Precious Things, Tori Amos. I'm David Dye. This is The World Cafe. New album due from Primal Scream in a few weeks. It's called Get Out, but Don't Give Up. And now for something completely different, Tori Amos is our guest in the studio today. She will join us at the piano in just a moment here on The World Cafe. Tori Amos was the first person to play piano in our World Cafe studios, and she is back again after what has been a remarkable year between the release of Little Earthquakes and its worldwide acceptance, and really essentially establishing yourself as an artist over the last year. Rarely as an artist connected so strongly emotionally with an audience as you have on this one record. I mean, a lot of it is due to you and the openness of what you write about. I'm sure that attracts a lot of people. I mean, you have 2 fanzines, a fan club. Do you have a lot of people coming up to you and saying, you say what I've been thinking?
Well, I deal on an emotional level. That's the only way I really know how to write. And I think people want to talk about that. They want to talk about the stuff that's been swept under the carpet, so to speak. And I like to sweep.
Yeah, right.
So I've opened one door with Little Earthquakes, which said, I want to kind of be awake now. And now what am I going to see while I'm awake? And Under the Pink got written.
Under the pink, under the skin.
If we ripped everybody's skin off, I think we're pink. So, and underneath that is the inner world. And also under the concept of girl, under the concept of what a girl is, because that's really changed for me, especially in the last couple years.
Has it changed since you did Little Earthquake, since you started writing for this?
Yeah. The violence between women is something I've really kind of had to deal with, look at, see my own violence, see my own mudslinging.
Why do you label it violence as far as just women not being supportive of other women? You see it as
well,
violence?
When you want to throw some bitch up against the wall and rip her head off, you know, it's not about a tea party. Or maybe it is with a nice butter knife. But, you know, I guess I had this idea of women being this illusion that we didn't do stuff like the guys did. I know that's really arrogant, and I'm sorry if it sounds that way, but I really believe that there were things that we wouldn't do to each other. Well, we don't do it in the way that guys do it, but we do things to each other like they do to each other and like they do to us. And it is a secret society what happens between women. It isn't as obvious as what the guys do to each other. But it's really there.
I was wondering, I talked about what a year it was. Is a very good year have anything to do with your year, or was that...
Well, Pretty Good Year actually was written from a letter I got from a boy in the north of England who said he's a young guy in his late teens, and he said basically his life had ended because now he was going to work in the factory, and there was in his mind no out. All his dreams and the things that he had said he was going to do, he was never going to do, and he knew it. And so I started to think about winter and how in that song the father said, when you're going to love you as much as I do. And then in Pretty Good Year, I'm saying to Greg, I can't give you self-respect. I can't love you enough. Whether Greg is, I don't know, reminds me of relationships I've been in where the guy doesn't feel good about himself, and I can't make him feel good about himself. So then do you know what I mean? It just doesn't stop. So this is a Pretty Good Year. Tears on the sleeve of a man. Don't wanna be a boy today. I heard the eternal footman bought himself a bike to race. And Gray writes letters and burns his CDs. They say you were something in those formative years. Well, hold on to nothing as fast as you can. Well, still pretty good, yeah. Oh, pretty good. Maybe a bright Sunday beach is gonna bring you back, back, back. Maybe not soon now, Europe. You're gonna see America. Well, let me tell you something about America. Letters with his birthday pen. Sometimes he's aware that they're drawing him. Lucy was pretty, your best friend agreed. Well, still pretty good, yeah. Oh, pretty good. Pretty good, yeah.
Pretty Good Year, the track that leads off onto the Pink Tori Amos' new album. Great solo version. Love that song. It's really a beautiful piece. Everything as usual on this record is piano-based, but there's a lot of really subtle, wonderful string arrangements that go with just your piano playing. Was that, as co-producer, that was your idea to do it that way? Or
No, that was Eric and I deciding.
Mm-hmm.
We had actually had another string arranger. We did a whole session with a... We won't... It's not important to mention names, but we did a big string date with someone. And it was not good. But we pulled in Phil Chanel, and he hasn't been given much of an opportunity to arrange live strings, and yet really, really talented person. And we said, like, what are you doing in 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. I do want to talk about the instrument you used for the basic tracks. I've heard of this piano before. Vinx apparently used one of... There are very few of them, I believe. Used Chicoreas on one of his records. Now, it's a Busendorfer?
Yes, Busendorfer. It was shipped out from... they have a warehouse in Indiana.
Where do they make them?
There's a little man in Austria. I went to the plant in Vienna. And there's a little man that goes out in the forest and knocks on the trees. They have their own forest that they've been making pianos since 1830-something. And they own their own forests, and they replant them, and they harvest, and there's a really, what do you call it? There's a real environmental, they have to be conscious about it.
Respect for the wood.
Completely. And a little man goes and knocks and decides who gets chopped down. And then once it goes, it sits out in the different weather conditions for 3-4 years. And then they start making the piano. And it takes about 68 weeks to make a Bösendorfer.
One of the songs on the record that I'm not sure what it's about because the lyrics on the sheet are melting is Icicle, but I know you were warming up on it.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, what's it about?
Well, the songs have layers to them. It's not nothing's really about one thing, although this goes back to my childhood and all the sexual shame, the shame for a woman being passionate, a young girl feeling passionate and wanting to try and express that. But you either get into the good girl, bad girl case here, and what defines a good girl and what defines a bad girl. And more important than anything for me growing up was I wanted respect, especially from my father. So of course, I aligned with the Magdalene, and everybody else was aligning with the Virgin Mary. And the Virgin Mary actually had babies later that people don't really want to talk about. She obviously did it, and people just have a hard time dealing with that. And so this is about a girl that masturbates to survive, to really try and retain a part of her sexuality before they kill it, numb it out of her. Icicle, where are you going? Where are you going? Icicle, where are you going? I have a hiding place when spring marches in. Will you keep watch for me? I hear them calling. Gonna lay down. Gonna lay down. Greeting the monster in our Easter dresses. Father says, bow your head like the good book says. Well, I think the good book is missing some pages. Gonna lay down. Gonna lay. Touches myself, I can finally rest my head. And when they say take all of his body, I think I'll take from mine instead. Getting off while they roll downstairs, singing prayers. I sing away. He's in my pumpkin PJs. I lay a book on my chest. Feel the word, 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 feel that I could have, I should have, I could Icicle, icicle, where are you going? I have a hiding place when spring marches in. Will you keep watch for me? I hear them calling. Gonna lay down, gonna lay down, I lay down, gonna lay down.
Icicle for my guest, Tori Amos, here on the World Cafe. Did you have pumpkin PJs? I mean, that's such a great image. It had to come from somewhere.
Well, I love pumpkin pie. You know I'm an eater. Everything is, I wanted pumpkin PJs.
What do your father or your parents think of your work?
We don't talk about Icicle, and we don't talk about God too much.
Things on the first record you don't talk about?
We didn't talk about me and a gun too much, because we never did. And later we have had to deal with it, me and a gun.
Mm-hmm. Would you have rather had better acceptance of these songs?
Well, me and the gun has become much more accepted. It's because of what happened to me and not communicating with my parents until very late in the day, until way after the record was out, way after press was out, and there was confusing things, and then I had to get clear and come forth, and but with the religious stuff, it's been a bit more difficult because my father's a minister. And when I go after the patriarchy and God and the institution, my dad is very much a part of the institution, so he feels like I'm going after him, and I'm saying, well, look, the institution has to be held accountable, Pop. I mean, you just have to kind of look at the history. This is not my opinion. This is about a misuse of power here. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about making humanity feel like they should be ashamed, like they're terrible. Like if you don't agree with them, then, cut the balls off of the men, rape the women, and butcher the children.
That's God, a song on Tori Amos' new album, Under the Pink. Tori is our guest, and we'll return with more from our interview with her in just a moment here on the World Cafe.
So many images, just even in the titles, that are just so wonderful, like Cloud on My Tongue. As somebody who talks for a living, that means something to me. It has a feeling to it. Where did that image come to you? Did you have any idea for the song and then try to figure out something to explain it?
No, well, because I didn't want to... My pride wouldn't let me cry in front of this person. And that's what it felt like. I didn't want to cry. I couldn't. I just couldn't.
Could you do Cloud on Your Tongue?
Yeah. Someone's knocking on my kitchen door. Leave the wood outside wet. All the girls here are freezing cold. Leave me with your body. Oh, I said I don't need much to keep me warm, and don't stop now. What you doing, my ugly one? Bring them all here, hard to hide her. 100 girls in your hair. It won't be fair if I hate her. If I You can go now. You can go now. You're already in there. I'll be wearing your tattoo. Yes, you're already in there. Got a cloud sleeping on my tongue. He goes and it goes and kiss the violets as they're waking up. Leave me with your body, oh, I said, leave me the way I was before, but you're already in there. I'll be wearing your tattoo. Yes, I'm already in circles and circles and circles again. The girls in circles and circles, circles again. The girls in circles and circles, circles again. The girls in circles and circles and circles again. Well, how someone's knocking on my kitchen door. Leave the wood outside. What? All the girls here are freezing cold. You can go now. You can go now. You can go now. You can go now. You're already in there. I'll be wearing your tattoo. Yes, you're already in there. Thought I was over the bridge now. I'm over the bridge now. Yes, I'm already in circles and circles and circles again. The girls in circles and circles. Got to stop spinning circles and circles, circles again. The girls in circles and circles, circles again. Well, circles and circles, circles again. The girls in circles and circles. Got to stop spinning circles and circles, circles again. The girls in circles and circles and circles again. Well,
Cloud on My Tongue, the solo version. One of the people on your record, I would like to tell you, I'd like you to tell me actually how he came to be on the record. It's George Porter Jr. from the Meters, one of the funkiest bassists in the world.
right.
I love what he does. I love what you do, but I would not have thought to put you two together. How did that come about?
Well, we were listening to different bass players, and I was getting so frustrated, and I almost went with one. And Eric actually said, "Tori, this is not what you said you wanted." I mean, Eric is great for that. He like has the patience of a rock, and he said, "I think we got to keep looking. We've just got to keep looking." And we asked the drummer if he, loved to play with anybody, and he said, "Well, I've never played with George Porter Jr., but I would love to." We said, "You mean George Porter Jr. from the Meters?" And it was like, yeah, the only George Porter Jr. So we called him and got him the first record, and he came up and he heard the new stuff and goes, "Well, I can play to this. There's some funky stuff here, girl." So we hung out.
And Trent Reznor, how did that come about?
Trent.
You got Trent to sing very sweetly for Trent.
Yeah, well, the song actually wanted him on it. The song, the songs, they're living things to me, and they speak to me, and they let me know who they want on them and who they don't, and they can get very, very vile sometimes. And she said to me, I want you to get Trent Reznor to sing on me. And I said, well, I'm sure you would like that, but I don't know if I can do it. And she said, well, then you're scum. So I said, well, let me see what I can do. And I got in touch with him, and we met, and we hung out for a little while up at the Tate House, which is kind of spooky, but anyway, that's his story. And we got on really well. I found him incredibly interesting, and we were giggling, and I played him the song. He said, yeah, if you want me to do it. And what is it about, really? And I said, it's about a girl trying to work through being a victim. And the guy singing is about supporting it. There, of course, is that love thing going on, and there's the religious thing of Jesus and Mary Magdalene going on, and there's all sorts of stuff. But I figured to have a raging male be supportive meant a lot more than a man that doesn't know how to rage.
Let's listen to it from the record.
Great.
This is Past the Mission. Past the Mission, that's the recorded version of that from Under the Pink. Tori Amos is our guest here. Nice feel to that, nice reggae-ish feel at the beginning, and then changes up, and good song.
Well, George and Carlo, they've had a lot of jambalaya playing. They were actually cooking in the kitchen.
Excellent.
Baker,
you mentioned Baker. Is that possible?
Yeah, we can do Baker. Baker was a hard one for me to admit, because me, I like to say that the guys are emotionally unavailable. And I have a deep, deep love for men, as I have a deep love for women, and then I have a deep resentment also and hurt from men, and also now in dealing with it for women. So it's not about one sex or another. It's about individuals and my own part of myself. But Baker has been coming to terms with that I haven't been able to be open to men, especially after, I think, really dealing with the me and a gun thing. Now I'm going, but I want to be open again. I want to come through this, and I know it's my choice if I want to stay bitter. So this is kind of my friend helping me get through it.
Baking a cake, make me a day, make me whole again. And I wonder what's in a day, what's in your cake this time. I guess you heard he's gone to LA. He says, and behind my eyes I'm hiding, and he tells me I pushed him away, and my heart's been hard to find. Yeah, there must be something here. Something Baker, can you explain if truly his heart was made of ice? And I wonder how man could taste. Maybe we could change his mind. I know you're late for your next parade. Thought I made friends with time. Thought we'd be like and maybe not this time. Baker, baker, baking a cake. Make me a day, make me whole again. And I wonder if he's okay. If you see him, say hi.
Baker, Baker, another track from Out of the Pink. Tori Amos.